existence.
Hello and welcome to the Radiant Black Podcast. This is a show about Radiant Black and everything Massiveverse, a series in superhero universe created by Kyle Higgins and Marcelo Costa. I'm your host, Bashar Saraf, and I am joined by my fellow hosts,
Matt Murphy,
Ali Ahmed,
and Charlie Randall.
Sweet. So, how's everybody doing today? I mean, it's a great day because we get to read and we get to talk about, we already read, but we get to talk about Dead Lucky issue 6, close out the arc, and I know everybody here loves Dead Lucky, and damn, that was quite a way to end the arc.
100%. I think it ended on a really strong note. It was there were a few unexpected things that happened. It took me off guard, but I think all in all, it was a very strong first 6 issues. I think for a couple of us, it started a little bit slow, but it picked up and it ended on a great note. Excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I absolutely love this one too, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. Had a pretty good weekend too, and got home and managed to squeeze in the last little bit of Batman Returns. I was finishing that with my brother. My personal favorite of the four Batman movies, kind of in that 90s era. So yeah, that's a blast, and now I can't wait to talk about this with you. How are you doing, Matt?
Good. It's been a stressful week for me, not gonna lie. So it's nice to have some entertainment to get lost in. And I thought that this was a super eventful issue. A lot of stuff happened. Spoiler alert, obviously. You guys know how we do it. I'm likely to throw in a spoiler later. We're gonna do the news, but like, rest in peace. Something happened. Jesus Christ, I wasn't expecting that to happen. So no, excited to talk about Dead Lucky, and let's get into it.
Yeah. The creative team for this issue, we've got the writer Melissa Flores, artist French Carlomagno, colorist Mattia Iacono, letterer Becca Carey, and of course editor and designer Michael Basudel. Gorgeous cover, colored and drawn by French. I mean, Michael told us before that he colors his own covers, and that just blows my mind because the colors are beautiful. But title for this issue: "There's No Shame in Surrender." And that's quite that. I mean, going in, what did you guys think about that title going in? Were you like, "Oh shit"?
It didn't make sense to me because that's not where I thought it was going to go. But after I read the issue, the title made complete sense to me.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think at the end of the last one we saw it, and like she was kind of like she was surrounded by a bunch of people. So I don't know. I thought a little she might have surrendered there, but kind of not really what went on this issue. But no, it was kind of interesting issue overall, and I just loved kind of some of the insights overall, like it gave on her past and kind of just like the character stuff that it brings in from like her experience as a soldier, bringing that into kind of like some of the battle scenes we see later on, and her kind of leading the other troops and stuff. So yeah, all this stuff was amazing, and this is kind of a cool title to start off.
Yeah, not what I expected at all. Because like it was Surrender. I didn't think it would end like it did, and like we got our stakes. Like we got it built up. It worked. I thought it would be like a surrender on the battlefield, but it was more of a like an official surrender with some stakes and an agreement. I didn't expect it, but I like the way it was executed, and I think it definitely takes us to a cool place. I can't not mention Charlie's Angels because I'm definitely getting Charlie's Angels vibes by the end of this issue, and Bosley's dead, and he's not even a Bosley. It's like, I'm interested to see where the series goes forward. I didn't think that that's what they would do, and it's a cool direction.
Yeah, I mean, Massiveverse known for its its uniqueness, its innovation, and this issue is no exception. We open on a flashback to San Francisco 2017, kind of getting a sense of what the relationship between Eddie and Bibi was like prior to everything falling apart. And it's kind of cool, right? Like he wakes up from bed like in the middle of the night. First thing he sees is Bibi already fully dressed. I have to leave now, like straight to the point, almost like it was inevitable. Like this was coming for a while, and there's a lot of tension there.
It was my read that Bibi just like wasn't interested in men anymore, and was like, and Eddie was like the stepping stone into like, moving into that. But I guess, I mean, the way this ended, it implies that like, it seems like it's more like the military and the distance between them, not just because, she wasn't into him for that reason, right? So it seems like she just kind of, it's more her isolating herself, not on purpose, but she is one of the most isolated characters, definitely the most isolated character in the Massiveverse. So I think that's interesting. Other than 001, who we have yet to be heard from in like ages.
Is he even still alive at this point? Who knows?
Oh man, yeah, no, that's a good point, and I kind of got the vibe too. Like, I don't know if this is her first kind of like her first placement or whatever, but it kind of seems like this has maybe happened before, and like
Oh
it, yeah, it just seems like it's the last
yeah.
kind of the last straw, especially like for Eddie here. Like he just like he can't keep going, and it just makes so much sense. Like now, like that we keep seeing like earlier on in the series, like how close they were and how they still have these feelings for each other, but like they just like it's just that reason they can't like fully connect because of
Yep.
this history. Right?
Totally. And this is back when she was like probably in the middle of all that, right? Like she was going to war, she was getting deployed.
Yeah.
So she's probably feeling all those things raw as they happen. Whereas when we get her in Dead Lucky, she's kind of beyond that, and she's dealing with a different kind of trauma, a different kind of reality now in San Francisco as we've seen things have changed. So it's interesting to see, like you said, the dynamic there. It's very much affected by that sort of stress, and I commend Eddie for putting up with it as long as he did. I mean, both of them really, because it hurts both of them.
Yeah.
But you gotta say that drawing of the background kind of fading into Bibi herself as she walks away, and you can see the bed. That's beautiful. Very nice
I
stuff
love
from
that.
French.
I love
Yeah.
that because it's
Very
like
cool choice.
it's like she's putting all that behind her,
Mhm.
as she's going away. It's great imagery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good show. And I also thought it was interesting too that I don't know if we knew for sure like how long Morrow existed, but that he knew Eddie was going for a Morrow interview, and that like it was a thing at this point, kind of starting to grow. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point that you mentioned, because that shows us that there's a distinction between how they view Morrow, then and now. Back then, it was still like seen as a good job opportunity, something to push yourself towards. But now, obviously, they have, as we see in the very next page, they're literally fighting Morrow.
Yeah, this was a crucial part in their history. There's a reason that we got to see this, not just because what's happening to Eddie later on, and we'll talk about that. But this is really it kind of reminds me of JJ and Nathan, how it's like they don't want us. It's like they still love each other. There's nothing like broken necessarily in the relationship. It's just timing and time and space, really, where it's they're in literally two different places, and their lives are kind of pulling them in different places. So when Eddie, like it's a love where like they're friends who easily could fall back in love. If Eddie wasn't married at this point, that's something that's on the table. We don't know if we'd have flings like we saw last issue or not.
He still thinks about her, right? Because he gave her that rifle that augmented like her electric powers. So he's clearly like thinking about her and how she's, making sure she's safe and everything in any way that he can. But I just want to say this Mick Sands character in the very next page, you see gorgeous colors. We're in the Castro district in the present day. The fight between Morrow and the Salvation Gang is it's really ramping up. And we get this reporter, Mick Sands, reporting live for Edge News. I gotta say, I think this is the most annoying character in the entire Massiveverse, more annoying than Sheer. This dude
Mac fucked
honestly,
them. He screwed them. I don't know. He got people killed this week.
Seriously,
for real,
he
though.
really did.
For real,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is obviously some social commentary,
Dude,
right?
and
Caught up on streams and clout. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no. So I just want to say, and I do have to admit something. When I first saw Max Inns, I think he was in the last issue. I totally like I literally have it in my notes here until the event we see later on. I was like, this dude, like he's out here in the cold. Like this guy needs a rage from Edge News, man. Like this guy's out in the battle, freaking recording stuff, getting footage firsthand. But yeah, no,
putting his ass
as we see later, yeah.
My God,
not so much.
Like, he's literally under the mech. Like Jesus.
Oh yeah, Edge is definitely this world's Vice for sure, right? I get Vice vibes, same like
I like that comparison.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. And like Eddie, like he's trying. It's like he means well, but a lot of time it's like streamers are getting people killed today. Right now, it's like you can't reveal your location. It's like you want to fight the cause. You want word to be out there. People deserve to see if police are like militarizing and attacking citizens and stuff like that. If they're going out of school and stuff like that, doing shit like that, people deserve that right to see that. But if people are fighting against it and stuff like that, don't obviously show exactly where they are, because you're going to get yourself killed, and a lot of people others, and there won't be a cause to fight for anymore when everyone's dead because of it.
I mean, I think it's definitely a super well written character when he annoys the crap out of me like that, but still manages to like entertain me. I find Max likes to a great social commentary in like a fun, loose way, but at the same time, honestly, a hilarious but annoying character, and for me, genuinely more annoying than Sheer.
Yeah, I wouldn't go against you on that one, to be honest. Yeah, that's a tough one though, for sure. But yeah, no, I love also too, like we'll get to it, but all the electrical action and starting off right here when she just like electrocutes this guy right out of the way. We didn't get a lot of gun action in this issue, unfortunately, but kind of save that. It's kind of like the Blackfire, right? You got to save that for the big moments, or this one could be a little more. But yeah, no, the electricity was really cool this issue, and all the bot action and everything.
Just a lot of action in general. All that war, I feel like, well said. And the next page, we just get smug Shift just sitting there, and outside the battlefield, kind of watching, spectating, eating his fucking chocolate bar, and then breaking the news to Bibi that he's like, I agreed to an assault on Morrow, not a suicide. Alamo last stand. And that's where she calls him a motherfucker, but then it gets cut off. Gotta say, him standing
that's
there
what that was.
Pyre, him standing there with Pyre, very cool. They haven't named the other guy yet in the tracksuit, sort of radiant looking tech, but I'm sure.
What's Daft Punk been up to since they split up? I feel like one of them has a solo project. I feel like that's what the other punk is up to. Also,
have you noticed that Pyre has like some sort of conscience there, like almost like he?
He's not all bad.
Yeah,
he was thinking about it, like. I don't know. I'm definitely more interested to see a lot more of Pyre moving forward.
Yep, makes me think this is someone we know because,
interesting. Some men simply question life when they watch the world burn, I guess. Also, I like the way the mask looks. Like this was a better look of the mask for me, and I like how like the flame kind of almost looks like it's like almost like a cowl, or like cuts off part of Pyre's face and stuff like that. It's a really interesting design. I find. We run the risk of like Shift's guys kind of like looking kind of similar when they have the same tech. So little things like that kind of help differentiate them. So it's nice.
I wonder if he has any relation to No One too, with that like circular hole in his face. There's like how many helmets can you make, and you can make them all look different? Like at what point will all the helmets start looking the same?
Yeah, no, that is true. That's a good point. Yeah, that could be for sure. But yeah, no, I like I really just gotta say, yeah, like all the one thing, yeah, like one of the best things about the Massiveverse and all their designs is like I find their helmet designs, and like every character just like has an iconic helmet, I find. So it's just, I don't know, they get that from the Power Ranger stuff, obviously, but yeah, they just keep killing it.
Ali, I like what you said about the unnamed assailant there, or whoever's with them. Like that could easily just be like, what if it's just like a spy for no one, like an Ultron bot or like a Doom bot or some stuff. Like the idea that this is the kind of series that plants seeds like this and would make us think that that's a possibility, because like no one's coming, and who knows, like no one seems to have their thumb on the pulse, right? So you never know.
Yep. And it's interesting because we know in some sense loosely Shift is kind of connected to No One, because the Image 3 issue when he went to Richard Richard Rowe. So there is some sort of very loose association there. So maybe there's something worth investigating there. So good point there. And I just want to say, like Charlie mentioned this earlier, every time we see Bibi use her powers in this issue, it's pretty crazy. But there's the page in the next page right after the first shock between her and the two Morrow dogs that attack her. We see like an insane page, almost similar to some of the Radiant Black pages we've seen, with like the crazy, you know what I'm talking about, like the display,
the cut of their face, the transformation, almost, but not quite transformation. Just
power up almost. Yeah, very amazing colors, just very cool, very memorable pages. Like for me, these really stuck out. It's nice to see Bibi like finally really let loose. Like I feel like in the last 3 issues from 4 to 6, we've seen her kind of ramp up in power, scope in terms of also her planning. But in the last 2 issues, and this one in particular, we saw just crazy, just her letting absolutely loose, going full control, doing 3 mechs at the same time, taking on as many people, bots as she can. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah, and Bibi, I know, is like, it fits her isolated theme, because like even when she fights, she's isolated because she's talking to the ghosts, just like she's talking to them and commanding them. So even when she's talking to other people she's trying to help, it is like she's in another world, even more so than if you're Spider-Man empowered. It's like less communication that still keeps her separate. So even when she's saving people, she's still kind of in the same world that she is at all times when she's got the her platoon there with her. So I think that's kind of really cool how the character just fits even in and outside of the suit. Bibi's still always isolated.
Yeah, I like that. And I think was this the first? I think she's levitated before, like right when Chai Mexico, I think, got burnt down.
Yep.
That was that.
Yes.
That burned down. She levitated, but this was her first time about to fly here. I think, unless I'm wrong, but yeah, I think she was actually about to take off here, kind of with her bots too. She's like, guys, time to fly. She takes off, and then like right away she gets taken down by this new Maro bot. So I think that was kind of a tease of that. We'll get to see more of her flying around.
I can't wait for that. That'll be pretty cool. Fucking Max Sands, right? Max Sands, yeah, he gets in the way again. This time he gets shot.
Can't help himself, man. Yeah, just cannot.
I mean, all you guys said it. Like Bibi has an instinct, right, from being a soldier, and her instinct there is to help the civilian. And this guy doesn't even care. He's just putting himself in the way of everything. Literally in the middle of a war, gets shot, and it's honestly at this point kind of frustrating because you're watching Bibi have to school this noob in the middle of the battlefield while trying to protect everyone and trying to win this battle. So it's overwhelming.
While all this is happening, he's still with his good arm. He has his camera up, still recording. Like the dedication, you gotta commend the dedication.
Yeah. And she unmasked like in a sign of trust, and already he's like broadcasting their name out there. It's like a speech. Yep. It's like you're in the locker room during a game, and someone just puts on a camera while you're doing like a speech to win the game. It's like, yo, this is kind of like you have to be there to get it for a lot of it, especially in the bunker. It's like in The Last Jedi or some shit. If they're like in the little thing and like he's like, hey, we're gonna like live stream right to the Empire. No, this ain't it. But yeah, poor Bibi. Like identity's already out there. It's not your choice to reveal that, but he wants the scoop. It's like, oh, I can show everybody who this is. Although, is it public? Is Bibi's name public, or is just Moro know that?
I think it's
public now. Public I think it was introduced at the.
I think at this point it's still not public. But
okay, and then she has her I am Iron Man moment at the end. So okay, interesting. Yeah. Just checking in. So yeah, no, Max Sand's definitely one of the biggest heels in a book with shift. So it's difficult.
No, but he's literally holding them back, and it's funny because you could see even she has to put her bots into like some sort of protective formation and ensure that they could crack. They could make it through the crack so that they could get some sort of cover. But once they get into cover, they see, there's just a ton more bots waiting for them, so it's not going to end well anyway. And that's where she asked them to get down, and literally as they're in there and she doesn't get down, she instinctively takes off her helmet.
Yeah.
And he just starts recording her face.
Interesting. Yeah. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's just like, I think it's part. I'm not sure if what happened here. I think it's part of trying to empathize with everybody and trying to be like, look, I'm a person like you guys. I'm trying to make it through here. Let's do this together. Max Ann's just being fucking Max Ann's. So, he's just being
he's being Max Ann, but to our point earlier of like everyone not knowing her name, like he's live streaming to the world, right? And like on the news, and
but it's they're giving away their position.
And he's also like she says I'm Bibi, like she says her name on the live like news, right? So
I think part of it too is because at this point, like when they go in the bunker and she takes off her mask, whatever, I think by this point, Bibi starts realizing that she might not get out of this alive. And you see in the next panel when she ties her Dr. X to her shoes so that they can identify her.
That's a good point.
I think by this point she's like, all right, fuck it. If I'm gonna go down, they might as well know my name and like know that I went down for a good cause or something.
Yeah. Yep. And it's interesting because right at this moment we get introduced to 3 new characters. One is unnamed, but we get Torrid and Shorty, who are 2 members of the Salvation Gang who are there with Bibi, Trapped, and Max Sands. So it's pretty interesting.
Too. Torrid, Shorty, and Factor.
Oh, Factor, cool, yeah. So yeah, and then we get Winston again. We just find her down there. This reminded me so much of like when you're playing a video game and you're in the middle of a shit spot and then there's the vendor. You know what I mean? You just like see the vendor right there. It's like, oh,
what are you buying?
Hey, what are you up to? You need me to help you with anything? And it's like Winston's like, oh, by the way, I've actually been dealing with my own shit, trying to escape. I find it funny. I really like Winston's text. She's like, "Oh, like Bibi asked her, what are you still doing here?" She's like, "Oh, monitoring Maro's communication, looking for an escape, trying not to die, same disease as you, right?" And then she says, "The dude is still live streaming, by the way." I think at this point, Phoebe's face.
Yeah, that come on. Yeah, this guy's got to stop. But I also mean like I would have like turned it off because at this point I feel like they like maybe the news knows Bibi's name, but now like her parents are in trouble. No, maybe like for Morrow.
Yep.
But
And
obviously
payroll.
she's.
I think that
Okay.
factors into her decision later
Yeah,
on,
that's
right?
fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What if Morrow paid Mac to be there, and then you can control the news, you control the opposition. So
I honestly was about to say, I was like, what if this is all planned? But that's insane though. If Mac is like putting himself on the line, like that,
Oh my God.
that's crazy. That'd be like next level craziness for me. That'd be insanely like in a good way, but also like insane.
Is he dead? I'm gonna see if we saw blood. If they're gonna be bulletproof vests, let's go. We need a journalist up for this journalist. Let's go.
Kane is still out there, right? So Kane's out there, and she's asking everyone to blow up the bots. So that's when they know they're out of time. But that's what frustrates me about this whole scenario is that like Max Sands is literally just giving away their position the entire time. Like in a tech war, in a war against a tech enemy, you're just giving away information like where their location is, like at live, right? It's just like it's frustrating and stupid. So I just find that like I half want Bibi to just like shock him, be like stop it, just like EMP his freaking like phone, just turn it off or something. Like
a little zap would be good.
Stop it. Yeah, give him a little zap, like a finger zap or something. Because like fuck, man, it's like annoying as hell. But unfortunately, one thing leads to another, and that's where we finally things begin to escalate. They finally made the move. Mara made the move. They're blowing up the bots. And this is Bibi's do or die moment. She just tells them, okay, we're out of time. We got to go. Oh, sorry. That's where Spaceman Tank and Ghost come out, and they're letting her know we're out of time. We lost the tanks. We got to do something. Kane's outside provoking. You get another badass, like the very first page of issue 1, right? Remember that? But this time helmetless. She's walking out. Eyes are glowing, just pissed off. All the her soldiers with her, her ghost soldiers, her ghosts are with her. And you just get this really cool face-off moment between her and Kane. But that's where you get – this was for me the biggest surprise. I was expecting Eddie to show up in some capacity, but I really didn't think he was going to put himself on the line and like show up in a bot. And this was epic. This was a really big moment for me. I thought it was just like huge.
I will say throughout this issue and the last, I've been missing the OG Ghost. The OG Ghost like bot, right? So when he did show up here, that was such a hype moment for me. Like coming in, fists blazing. I loved it.
And it is a ghost from her past too, right? Like it's a dead relationship, but being piloted by
look at that!
the battleship.
Mr. Literature here, flexing his
clever.
Look at that!
I'm just analyzing the material we're given, and it's pretty cool sometimes. So like most times, I wouldn't be here every week.
Making lemonade out of words. Look at you.
Word soda, baby. No, but this was crazy. This was like one of the biggest things that's happened in the Massiveverse in a minute because like shit went down. Like Eddie, as far as we know, it looks like he's dead. They talked about it like he's dead afterwards. He's dead. They left his body there for like forever too. When it goes later, I'm like, how long is Eddie's body there? And like like no one came for him. That's what I was wondering. But we got to negotiate. I mean, it's serious to negotiate over the corpse of
this is the sacrifice that pushed her over the edge finally. And this is where Charlie probably started drooling because she started like really levitating, going full on, just like the fucking Sith, like just floating, No,
this
really
is like
cool,
her Super Saiyan moment for me.
Yeah, 100%. She just like took over all the bots and
Krillin himself in my notes. He went full Krillin. That's what happened.
Oh my God! Yes, that's exactly
what
happened.
Krillin moment.
Yep, 100%.
That's fantastic. I mean, yeah, no. It's a fantastic moment. Obviously, like we've said before, French's artwork in this issue has been incredible. Mattia's colors are always fantastic, always incredible, bombastic, just beautiful. But I gotta say, man, this was a big moment. This is like the moment I feel like we've been waiting for a while, just to see her power in full display, untapped potential right there. Just literally changed the tide of the battle. And guess what? By the end of it, while Eddie's dying, while she's yelling Eddie into the fire, trying to find his body, guess what's happening? Fucking Max Sands in the background recording. Like, oh my God, dude, have you no shame?
He's got some good equipment though. If the electricity didn't destroy it all, like legit, like you think he'd be screwed, but he's probably always got an extra camera there. A good journalist always does, and there's never not a good time to record. This would get like 50 million views.
You guys were saying something like it could be like Morrow, but I just want to say Jimmy Moss is watching, right? Jimmy Moss is watching, right?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna say now, now thinking about it and kind of looking back at it, I don't know if Bibi's name is gonna be exposed. Like I'm now starting to think Edge News might be kind of just out of this dude's like house or something. He's got this press shirt, like literally drawn on press, like with a marker. Like he kind of like, I don't know, he just doesn't look professional at all. Like maybe Morrow set him up like that, like just on purpose to throw us off. But I don't know. I
was thinking Edge News might be like a subsidiary of Morrow at this point.
Yeah. It sounds like super big. Yeah. That's what I thought, but I don't know, like what kind of big company is giving him a shirt like that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. But like, I'm honestly like, I want to believe that like he's just an idiot. But like, you guys make some really good points. It could be some sort of like blackmail, deception sort of thing, and we've already seen that in the Massiveverse in some cases play out in different ways, right? Literally with Kieran and the fellow. I would yeah. So yeah, I mean that would be very interesting. I would love that just because then we could truly see Bibi zap Maxan's ass. Turn him into Mac Dust, baby. Like, I want to see that. I really do.
Let us know what you think about Max Sands. Are you a Max Sands truther? Let us know because like I'm interested in these theories. I don't even.
We gotta do like a Jason Todd vote in the future. Max Sands or Mac Dust? What are we doing here? Are we burning him to a crisp? Or are we gonna keep him in the issue? Because man, that dude was annoying. But I in the case, honestly, like. I only would want him to die though if he was like a double, you know, he betrayed Bibi, a double agent for Morrow. But if he's just like
becomes one of her ghosts.
Yeah. That would be so cruel. That would be the worst thing.
No,
that would be horrible.
No, please.
That would be horrible.
That's my question though. Do you guys think this last we see of Eddie, does he become one of her ghosts that she sees? Because I mean, they died the same way, right?
I think it's very possible. Yeah,
he died in combat with her.
That was my question. So he is dead for sure, right? Because yeah, obviously his spirit could have shown up somewhere else, but like. Also, I also took it maybe in as a way as like his spirit hasn't gone anywhere yet because maybe he's not fully dead. But at the same time, she did kind of just like throw him kind of on the ground like he was completely dead. So
yeah, I think he's dead. I got my money.
I think
he's dead for real.
He's dead. Yeah,
Bibi says avenge him.
Yeah, I think that big moment was that he sacrificed himself, and that's the whole, like you said, it goes from the past kind of thing. That was poetic. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I think he's dead, and I think this is a big reason why Bibi decided on the moment there that the tactical thing to do was to do what you see next, and like Matt said earlier, have a big Iron Man moment. Yeah,
I don't even feel like this is surrender, right? Because it's like I can't kill you. It's more of like I don't know the terminology. I'm not a historian.
It's like a defeat you from within, right? Whatever.
Yeah,
like infiltrate from within.
I like that it had to be Eddie. Though, right? Like if Eddie didn't die, Bibi wouldn't have been that pissed off, and it wouldn't have gotten in that mood where like it wouldn't have had effect on her, and she unleashes all her power. But it's like, you know what I mean? It ended perfectly, and I mean,
it fits with the tone of the story as well, because we've seen this rift between them, and this is like he's been constantly nagging of her about ways to help, and like we mentioned earlier, actually, this episode, how he created that pulse rifle for her that's electric, that's attuned to her powers. So we've seen in many ways that even if he couldn't be involved directly, he's constantly been looking to be involved more directly because he really loves Bibi still. And like we saw at the beginning of this issue, and I love that they put it here, that his love never really faded for her. It just sort of like he couldn't live with this painful like existence of like some weird like, you know, love that they just couldn't deal with. And I understand that it's painful because they both love each other so much, but they can't be there for each other. And when they're not there for each other, in the sense that, you know, like being present for each other, it's tough because he's worried about Bibi might die, and then she's literally dealing with the trauma of watching her friends, her comrades die, and then have to, and we see obviously carry them on as dead lucky. So yeah, but I just want to say, wait, we do get another huge moment this issue. Was the last issue when she says, "What do they call you?" And it's like dead lucky.
Oh,
you can call us dead lucky.
It's this one.
Yeah, that was fucking nice. That was really like that gave me like chills. I was like, "Whoa," you know. But this moment, this was very like I really didn't expect this at all. Like I got a hint of like when I saw Surrender at the beginning, I thought like maybe she's gonna pull like some sort of like crazy like pseudo military or like guerrilla style of like they're going to surrender and then do some sort of trap and then change the tides. But here it's like no, like they're it's a strategic retreat almost, and to begin to infiltrate from within. My question to you guys is two things: is did you see this coming at all, even with the title of the book? And then my second question is, do you think Jimmy Moss knows?
So I definitely did not see this coming, as I've said earlier. And no, I don't think Jimmy Moss knows, but I am excited for, like, I'm excited. I think the tone of the book might shift a little bit. Like, it might be more, I don't know, espionage-y.
Or cyberpunk, like, corporate espionage now?
Yeah. Now that they all
Yeah.
work there and they're all on the same page or like trying to bring it down from within, I'm excited for the book to take a different tone. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but either way, did not expect this coming, but it made sense and it works really well. And I hope we do see Eddie as a bot. Like, imagine, because we have
as a ghost, like coming back as a bot. That's what you mean?
Ghost
yeah. We have
past. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. We have Tanky, Spaceman, and Ghost, right? And they each took one of the 3 new bots that were fighting in this war, and then Eddie died in the original bot. So what if Eddie takes over the original bot as?
Ooh,
that's what I'm hoping, at least.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would actually be cool. Okay, yeah, I didn't think of that one. I really like that. Yeah, that's an awesome possibility.
That's really cool.
And did you guys notice what's his name here? I already forgot his name. The annoying reporter. The guy kind of in the crowd here. Yeah, asking the question. I thought that was kind of awesome setting up that moment.
Yeah, I love how nonchalant he looks as well. Like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like it's just normal.
This guy's everywhere.
Yeah, but now everybody knows who she is because they straight up name her Bibiana Lopez Yang. I think that's going to be a big. It's going to elevate the stakes of the book in a different way because thus far we've had the like when is it going to be revealed to the, because it was only a matter of time, right? Jimmy Moss being the head of a tech company and them being such a clutch on San Francisco. It was only a matter of time before they knew who she was, and we saw like issue 3 or 4. But now the dynamic has changed where it's like everyone's aware who everyone is, and Bibi's gonna have to walk this very tightrope because her identity is out there. Everybody knows who she is, and now they have access to her family, her loved ones. But also she's got access to the company, and it's like an Oscorp situation where she's probably gonna go look for really cool shit that they're doing that's probably illegal as hell. That might change the odds.
I mentioned as a joke earlier that one of the guys that was looking for one of Schiff's guys that was looking for them with fire kind of looked like Daft Punk, but I mean it was a joke, but they were up all night to get lucky. So you tell me.
No, I actually can't. Personally, I can't wait to see the dynamic of like between like Bibi, Officer Garcia, and the other officer. Like kind of their dynamic in the workforce. I forget the other officer's name, but that's going to be kind of a fun dynamic because we know the other girl does not like Dead Lucky whatsoever. So it's going to be quite a clash.
Definitely. I hope we get more Winston and Valentine and Kane in general.
You need Winston, right?
Yeah.
With Eddie dead, presumably. She has
we joked about
skills.
Valentine's Day, right? But we didn't get any Valentine in this issue. Nope. I mean, barely. We did get cameo at the end. Where
she literally has like one panel,
Yeah.
That's his that's Eddie's wife speaking, right? On the podium. That's not like some random Morrow spokesperson.
I think so.
Yeah, because she works in like Morrow PR, right?
Georgia.
Yeah.
Georgia,
you're right.
PR.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. I just had to double check.
Yeah.
So I hope we get more Winston. And one thing I love about this book is that obviously, just overall, great action, very different from some of the other Massiveverse books in terms of its tones, what it's trying to tackle, even aesthetically. Like it has its own aesthetic feel. But one thing I really loved is this new direction that we're headed in, and I love the side characters of this book. I love Bibi, but I also love the cast of characters she has around her. They're really strong characters, strong sensibilities, identities, and I love their involvement in the book just as much as I love seeing like Bibi in the book. So I'm really excited to see more of them, and like especially I feel like I don't know what this says about me, but especially some of like the people on the, I guess like Maria and Valentine are kind of good, but like Kane, you know what I mean? Like Kane is pretty bad, but I think she's awesome. So I hope we get more of all of them.
Pieces are there, right? Like just one for like Valentine, right? Like we know that she could easily be tilted to working just for Morrow fully, right? She'll bend. So I think it really, the pieces are there for a really interesting story of, almost Game of Thrones of like, people pushing the right pieces like a Jenga tower. It's going to be almost like The Walking Dead to me, like when they were trying to take down Negan and you had like different cells of saviors, right? You got different operations with Morrow, so there's a lot you can do. Anyway, continue on.
No, I was just saying I couldn't agree more with Bash that like one of the things that set this book apart from other Massiveverse books is the cast of characters, because there's a lot of recurring characters from issue 1, and we only had 6 issues, right, to introduce these characters and get us to fall in love with them and care about them, and they did such a great job with that. And like Bash said, I can't wait to see more of them all.
Yeah, there some of them only had like 2 or 3 issues, and we've been.
No, but even in that short amount of time, they had such an impact.
Max Sands had like one
this is the Max Sands issue, man. This is the Max Sands issue.
Yeah,
this is the Max Sands issue, baby. Like, this is the sheer of the dead lucky boy. That's to me, that's who he's gonna be. I don't care if they turn out not to be a bad guy, but to me, that's who it is. But I want to say just how hype it is this time of year. When you were reading the issue and right at the end there, when it ends and you get the confirmation where Bibi's planning with the rest of the ladies that it's time, we're going to avenge Eddie. We're going to burn Morrow from the inside out. So yeah, confirmation Eddie's definitely dead. But what made me so happy is on the bottom there, that box that said next Supermassive. Oh man.
That just made me think. Since it says next Supermassive and Bibi now is an agent of Morrow, does that mean Morrow's going to be involved in Supermassive?
Ooh, I think Morrow, it's safe to say they're involved in everything, like Massiveverse, loosely, if not like directly. You know what I mean?
I mean, Shift used to work for Morrow, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Or like steal from them.
It sounds like they're one of the most like technologically like advanced, like especially like cities around. Mm-hmm. So and especially their like like all their bots and everything. So yeah, I think the military.
Plus, we talked about the 001 papers, right? That leaked a few issues ago. That's the thing. So much has happened in the Massiveverse that I swear to God, I really reflected upon this when they released the Catalyst War trailer. So if you haven't seen that, please go see that. But if you like, they show you a lot of cool shit in the Catalyst War trailer to get you excited for it. But then I went to just skim through some of the pages. Going to do another reread soon for Supermassive. Just reread everything. And guys, like, so much has happened. There's so many things that have happened in Radiant Black that like we just forgot about. Like, there's still that hand that came out of like Radiant Black's chest and took 001 in. And one of you guys were like, 001 dead? I don't think so, because in the variant for 24, he's on the cover. So
I don't think he's dead. He's definitely popping up around 24, 25 when we go back to existence. Yep. I feel like he's in there.
Yep. So it's like there's so much, right? Sorry, go ahead.
I like the mention of Morrow being involved in this. Like, we really, if we're gonna call it Too Massive, the subheading should be No Tomorrow. So we got 3 2s. Super massive, no tomorrow. No, this is the most meme title of anything, right? Like and like everyone, like, you sound nuts talking about it. We've been calling it super massive for like 9 months. Like the idea of super massive and now being real. Like 3 per massive won't be fun, but we will do it. We'll go full Mithrigan on that. We don't even give a shit. Like, trust me, I'll do it. Like, we have no shame. So
no, just do it. Super massive, but the E is a 3 instead.
I like that.
Give that man a raise.
Yeah, the another thing that you just reminded me of, just looking at the cover of Supermassive, is that we got that mystery new character, right? Gorgeous art by Daniele Di Nicuolo, Walter Baiamonte on this book, and we got that mystery character who we've heard that is tied to the history of the Massiveverse. We haven't really gotten confirmation with which corner yet. People have speculated mostly Rogue Sun, which I think is fair because of the solicit, which says a doorway has opened. Beyond it lies the Holy Grail. Yes, that Holy Grail. But why are the Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, the Dead Lucky also desperate to get their hands on it? And who is the mysterious woman who stands in their way? So I just want to say, I swear to God, I was already sold on this. Like, you didn't have to convince me to buy this shit. But when you put Holy Grail, and then I was going to buy like 10 more copies. Like, I love that. So I was very excited about that. What did you guys think?
Yeah, no, I absolutely, this was just exciting stuff. And actually, I was just looking here, and I had a question Did Dylan get a haircut there in Supermassive? I see in like the main cover there he kind of has I don't know if it's slicked back, but or he's got a haircut. But yeah, that could be an interesting change. But yeah, no, just can't wait to see Niccolo kind of show off his stuff, like just from those preview pages alone. Like I saw so many tweets like, oh, I need to catch up on the Massiveverse. Like I need to start the Massiveverse. It's like I don't know why they're just saying that just now, but like it just shows how powerful this stuff is.
Oh yeah.
I make an effort not to get too hyped on stuff ever since like 2008, where Super Smash Bros. Brawl disappointed me, and I don't change my ways in 15 years. But I mean, obviously this is fucking sweet. Like I'm looking at the artwork, like I don't throw the f-bombs around like too often, but like it's awesome. I just see like what might be like an interior page or whatever, or a preview page with the 4, Inferno Go Red, Rogue Sun, Radiant Black, and Dead Lucky like standing. Like it just shows like shoulder and up, and it's just like. These characters are already iconic in 2 years. Like I love these characters and see them interact. It feels special. And last time was amazing, and I feel like this is gonna be totally different. So I feel like whatever this book sells for, it's a grail to me. So there we go.
No, definitely. I couldn't be more excited for it. Supermassive 1 last year was one of the best single issues I've read that year, and I don't think they're gonna disappoint us again this year. Just from the covers alone, like and the synopsis, right? It's what.
The quality of the book, like physically. Remember how nice?
Oh, it was so good. It was That's a whole other thing on its own, but it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait.
If you're an Image Comics fan, they give you like the channel, the Spirit in the 90s, a little bit. They give you that the big fold out page with all the heroes in the first Supermassive. That was really cool. And if you haven't read like Supermassive, or you haven't read Rain Black, or you want to check out this universe, or, recommend it to a friend, like check out our reading guides on the website. We even posted on our website, on the Reading Black Podcast website, links to the YouTube trailers for the upcoming Massiveverse books before they release. So if you want to go to the channel, Black Market Narrative, subscribe to them for upcoming news, check out the trailers, you could do that. Please do that, actually, because they put so much work into it and so much, they're just so cool. The jam piece, yeah, like you said, by all the artists, and the Supermassive cover B, #1 for 2023. Reading Black drawn by Marcelo. We got Abel drawing Rogue Sun, French doing Dead Lucky, and then in the back, tiny on top of the castle, we've got Inferno Go Red. Even though we got the news that Inferno Go Red's not going to be in this one, and we heard it from the top down, right? Because Matt told everybody on Twitter that this was a decision that they made creatively, and I thought because it was for the best, it wasn't,
There's no discernible winks or nudges going on. Like, It seems legit, guys. Don't get your hopes up. Like, it looks that way. It's weird that Inferno Go Red is drawn next to the characters in the preview material. I'm not going to get anybody.
Michael said he wasn't going to deny an opportunity to do a jam piece with all the artists. Okay. I think that's legit. Okay. I think because he did say like. Someone did point that out and said like, oh, the Supermassive promotional art by Daniele, has Inferno Go Red. That's why we were all like thinking it's bullshit. But then he was like, that was done a year ago to hype up the event. But since
I'll settle for 3 of the Beatles, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah, that's a good point. But
for what it's worth, she's not on the main cover.
Yeah,
it's Dead Lucky, Radiant Black, and Rogue Sun. So.
Yep. Yeah, no, legitimately, don't get your hopes up for Inferno Go Red. I'm just fucking around. Like, don't expect it, but there's going to be other mind-blowing shit.
Knowing them, they might introduce a new hero, right?
Right.
Knowing them, like, they're crazy. They'll do something like that. They've already introduced a new character on the cover, a new villain, supposedly, or something.
All we know for sure is there won't be, like, any scratch and sniff. That's the only thing we can really, like, tether ourselves to this reality with. Also, before we finish with Dead Lucky 6, we got another awesome recipe here. Like, how many comics do you know that double as cookbooks? Not many. So, I mean, like, what are you waiting for? No. But it's really sweet. I do love the recipes attached to this stuff. Definitely I want to see people cook these in real life. Like,
I heard they'll be collected in the trade. So that's awesome. Like, that's already next level. Yeah.
Trades in the Massiveverse always hook you up. Like when you get the Satomi issue, you get Radiant Black 6 in with your Satomi Radiant Red trade. Like I love it when they do stuff like that, so you don't miss out on some stuff that really is like the heart and soul and adds like that special spice to the recipe.
And they love it so much that I've heard people just like praise the hell out of it. Like even Matthew Rosenberg's podcast, Ideas Don't Bleed, with Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan. They talked to Kyle Higgins recently, like just a couple of days ago, about Radiant Black and all that. So check that out if you haven't. And he talks about a lot of Radiant Black stuff. Some of it's stuff you've heard before, but some of it's actually cool new stuff. And they kept, the guys on the podcast kept praising the spy gloss. They were like, "Oh, I just kept staring at it. It's so nice." And I'm just like, yeah, it really is. So I don't know who did that. I think Michael said he had a big hand, and I don't know if it's the spot gloss, but he definitely had a big hand in how the spines of those trades look, how they're designed, I think. So overall, fantastic job from him and everybody on Team Massiveverse. Like we just said, the Dead Lucky trade's coming out soon. So if you want to pre-order that, check that out, coming out in a few months. I'm definitely getting that for my collection. And it's been one of those days. You guys excited for that? Of course, we got to read it, so no spoilers. It was so good.
Yeah, go get Infernal Girl Red book 2 just came out, right? Or book 1 number 2.
Yeah, book 1 number 2.
So yeah, go grab that. I think Introduction of the Griffin, right? I think.
First appearance of the Griffin.
Yeah,
it's been
incredible.
A fantastic story.
Swooping in the store shelves.
So probably some of the best art, and I'm not just saying this. Some of these Massiveverse or anything, but some of the best art in the entire 2023 of all comics, in my opinion. And the reason we haven't covered Infernal Girl Red on the podcast is because we had a big interview with Matt Groom, which you should check out. But instead of covering the book by issue, we're going to cover it all in one go when the 3rd issue releases. So yeah, we'll have that because I feel like it's going to flow so much better that way. And I've been rereading it in single issue format because I want to see the distinctions and how it's received. So I find that interesting. But
this way we don't have to tiptoe when we talk about it. We can just do one large chunk and just dive into the whole thing, and everyone can kind of go at it from the same standpoint. I think that's definitely the best way to do it. And I do want to read them individually. You sold me on that now, where I was just collecting them, but
dude,
to see how
it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're so beautiful. They're so nicely printed. The cover cardstock is so nice and thick. Like I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
we just hit 1,000 followers, by the way. So thank you for that on Twitter. Yeah,
that's
but
awesome.
And for our support, we're going to actually be giving away one of our biggest giveaways yet. We're going to be giving away an Infernal Girl Red number 1 retro variant to the winner. So if you don't know what that is, that's a Stadium Comics exclusive that's now sold out. It's very low print count. I think like 500, 600 copies, something like that, or maybe, I think just under 1,000, something like that. So exclusive cover, Infernal Girl Red. We'll put a picture of it. We'll post it on the socials. If you want to be part of that, just stay tuned on socials. But thank you so much, everyone, for your support. Before we close out here, what do you guys want to? Any finishing notes?
Just thank you for listening these past year and a half. It's been a blast doing it and getting to know these guys and talking, reading Black Massiveverse with them. And don't forget to pre-order. What was it? Reading Black 24, the Blacklight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and check out support your fellow podcasters. There's like so many people out there doing some great content. Like shout out to the Comic Kingpins, shout out to Lefteros, shout out to Chip Collect, shout out to all the great guys out there. Shout out to Geek Ultimate Alliance, shout out to the DC Ultimate Alliance podcast. I've been listening to that nonstop. It's been so good. Yeah, guys, there's just so many people out there doing some great work, and I just thought it was worth a shout out. Even on the Massiveverse, some of our friends are going to be doing some Massiveverse interviews soon. Some people have been doing no one previews and all that stuff. So please go check that out. It's just a good time to be a comic book fan. Didn't Kirkman on a just separate note? So I'm sure we'll get some sort of podcast from our Super Guy News friends announcement soon. But didn't they say that there's a new comic book series coming? Void something. From Kirkman.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks sweet. That cover looked awesome. Anything from those guys, we read. I think it's the Oblivion song guys, right?
Team.
Lorenzo and Kirkman. Can't wait. That whole series was one of my favorites in these past few years, and shout out to that podcast too. Awesome podcast. Just reading through that series, and can't wait for this one. Anything Kirkman, I'll read, and especially Lorenzo on there. Just a bonus.
They're saying it's like a universe, so it's like maybe it's gonna be something like a Massiveverse, but like
think it's gonna connect over to Oblivion Song.
Who knows?
It's the perfect tech to do universe crossover. I've said this to Bash before. I don't know if I said it on air. Like it's literally perfect. You can do whatever.
They have too much of that, like Image Comics. You got Radiant Pink who can open portals. You get what's his name? The bad guy from Invincible issue 16. I keep forgetting who was in the trailer.
It'd be sweet if a Massiveverse character popped into that and like you did a favor for Kirkman, and then boom, you get Invincible for a weekend or some shit.
Radiant Pink. We've got so many people who can open portals in the Image Comics universe. At this point, there's no reason not to have just a freaking crazy wacko Image Comics universe crossover where everybody just goes wild. Just get like Owen from Firepower in there, get Jonna and the Impossible Monsters in there, get like everybody in there. Just have so much fun with it. You know what I mean? Like they really should do that. They have nothing to lose, and
They have some
reading-
toys to play with at Image, and I feel like you definitely could like flex. They've got some cool shit. Like crossover was pretty interesting. This is a way where you could have like Kirkman stuff. I want to see Battle Beast and Science Dog, like the War of Ideals versus Raw Violence. Like
I want to see Battle Beast recruit Billy Blood Moon, and like you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
and then I want to see them fight Astounding Wolfman, like with some other people. You know what I mean? Like just go crazy.
Yeah,
There's just so many characters. Like there's so many characters we have in the Image Comics universe. There's tons that we haven't even named because there's so many great characters. So yeah, I really hope they do that because I really hope I think it's a lost opportunity for them not to do that. But in terms of teleporting people, like you guys said, Angstrom Levy, that's who I was thinking about earlier. So you have so many people who can teleport. Like there's really no reason at this point. But that said, I think that's everything in terms of Massiveverse news. Oh, and one last thing. Don't forget to check out The Drop and the podcast that's coming, the companion podcast for No One, that's going to be run by Rachel A. Cook and Patton Oswalt. Like what a way to do something awesome in a comic book. And I just want to say that I heard people at the comic book store even talking about this, saying like that's so cool. Like even though they've never like heard of the Massiveverse or they haven't really kept up with it, they were like, that's so cool, the fact that a comic book is doing something like that. And then if you look at Kyle Higgins' social media recently on Instagram, Twitter, he's been posting pictures of him in Pittsburgh, like capturing different photos of the scenery, taking a lot of reference images, and we really appreciate the amount of work, attention to detail that goes into crafting the Massiveverse and making it feel unique and immersive. It really goes a long way, and it really pays off. And I just want to another shameless throwback to the podcast I mentioned earlier, Ideas Don't Bleed, the podcast with Matthew Rosenberg, where he talks to Higgins in that one episode. He actually talks about how everything, like all the components, matter for the Massiveverse. Like they focus on elevating the experience in terms of every component of the book because they want to make it as good as possible. You know, so we always appreciate that, and it really shows.
Yeah, well said. But yeah, I think that's everything. Can't wait. Yeah, so that, like you said, that Supermassive kind of got me hyped, even though we're still a few months away. But yeah, we still got a couple Radiant Blacks and a couple Rogue Suns, I guess. So yeah,
time for the Massiveverse reread then.
Yeah.
All righty, everyone.
Can't wait.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to be rereading the Massiveverse books soon and reporting back. Stay radiant, everyone.